So, you're in Delaware and you've got big plans. Maybe you're looking to work, study, or do business on a global scale. Well, there's a single piece of paper that can either make that happen or stop you in your tracks. It's called an apostille, and today we're going to decode exactly what it is and why it is so important. Let me ask you this. Are you actually planning to take your life or your business to another country? If the answer is yes, you are going to want to lean in for this. Because you could have everything lined up, your passport, your visa, the whole deal, but one missing little stamp on your documents could bring everything to a grinding halt. And it's true. Believe it or not, a simple piece of paper, or really the lack of a special certification on it, can slam the brakes on your international dreams. It's a roadblock most people never see coming until, well, it's too late. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. Think about it. A business owner from Wilmington trying to set up shop in Europe, a student from Dover who just got into their dream university in Canada, or maybe a couple from Newark navigating a complex international adoption. They all have one thing in common. They need their Delaware documents to be seen as legit overseas. And that's exactly where the apostille comes into play. Okay, so what is this thing that holds so much power? Let's break down this word, apostille. I promise it sounds way more complicated than it actually is. The absolute best way to think of an apostille is like an international passport, but for your documents. It's a special certificate that gets physically attached to your original paperwork. And what it does is tell any other participating country, hey, this document is the real deal. It's authentic. Basically, it's a universal thumbs up that says, yep, this document is legit. You know, this whole system was designed to cut through a ton of international red tape. It's all part of a 1961 treaty called the Hague Convention. All the member countries basically agreed on one standard way to accept each other's public documents. So with an apostille, you skip all those messy country-by-country legal hurdles, which, trust me, makes your life a whole lot easier. All right, so let's get practical. How do you actually get one of these in Delaware? Well, the whole process is handled by the Secretary of State, and it follows a pretty clear path. It really boils down to 3 key steps. Step 1, you got to get an official certified copy of your document. So for a birth certificate, that's going to come from the Department of Health. For corporate papers, it's the Division of Corporations. Step 2, if you have a private legal document, say a power of attorney, it has to be properly notarized. And finally, step 3, you take that certified or notarized document and submit it to the Delaware Secretary of State's office. They'll review it, and if everything's in order, they'll attach the apostille. And you might be surprised by just how many different kinds of documents need this treatment. We're talking about really personal records like birth and marriage certificates. We're talking academic stuff like your diploma or transcripts. And of course, super important business filings like articles of incorporation. Even things like a power of attorney or an FBI background check often need an apostille to be used abroad. Now, here's the catch. The steps sound pretty straightforward, right? But the tiniest mistake can cause huge delays. Things like submitting a photocopy instead of a certified original, a small error in how the document was notarized, or just not knowing the specific rules of the country you're sending it to. Any one of those can get your application bounced, setting you back weeks. Okay, this is where the story gets really interesting, because Delaware isn't just any state when it comes to apostilles. It's actually a major hub for this stuff. Let's dig into why. So check this out. It's pretty wild where the demand comes from. A full 50%, that's half, of all apostille requests in Delaware are for corporate documents. I mean, compare that to personal papers like birth or marriage certificates. That's only about 30% of the requests. So why the huge focus on business? Well, it all comes down to Delaware's reputation. It is famous for its business-friendly laws and its expert court of chancery that handles corporate disputes. Because of that, it's the legal home for literally countless corporations that do business all over the world. So when those companies need to prove their legal status in another country, they have to get their Delaware Incorporation papers apostilled. This creates a massive, focused demand that you just don't see anywhere else. So, with all that in mind, how do you navigate this whole thing without hitting any of those common roadblocks? Let's run through some essential tips to make sure your application goes off without a hitch. Number 1, and this is a big one, start early. Government processing times can be really unpredictable. 2, always verify the specific requirements for the country you're dealing with. The rules can be totally different from one place to the next. 3, make sure you're using official certified copies from the right authority in Delaware. No photocopies, they'll get rejected instantly. And last but not least, Double-check, then triple-check every single detail. A typo or a missing signature can derail the whole thing. And just like that, once all that paperwork is done and that official seal is on there, your document is officially ready for the world stage. It's so much more than just a piece of paper. It's your ticket to a new job, a new school, or a new business venture. Which brings us to one final question. Your documents are ready for the world. Where will they take you?